what do I mean by lessons from the dying? What am I talking about? The title is a bit vague and it's a bit weird for this type of channel. Well, let me tell you what's going on. So, my parents have a friend that they're not doing well. They're kind of thinking that they're probably within their last days. Either I haven't heard back, but they could have honestly passed away either last night, today, or tomorrow. Like, they're not expected to see the end of this week. So why am I bringing this up on the business channel? Well, let me explain why. Less than a year ago, this person called up their dad with excitement and glee, saying, "How does it feel to know a millionaire?" Because they won a big cash prize on a scratch off lottery ticket. And I don't know what it is. Like I said, I don't talk to this person. They're not really in my they're not in my community of people I talk to on a regular basis. I talk to you guys more than I talk to that person, so that's why I'm not sad. Anyway, about 3 months after she had that phone conversation and was so excited and stuff, she found out she had some type of cancer. And I heard, last night that she's not doing well and everything I already said. Not going to reiterate it. So, and I was thinking, it's a good thing she won the lottery, because now, her family doesn't have to have all this absorbent amount of, medical debt looming over them, and just everything that goes with everything that she's been through for the past, I don't know, 9 months, maybe, if that. But my other thought was she never had a chance to enjoy it. And I guarantee you right now, she would give up all that money for her health. Because if you don't have your health, then you have nothing. And I know this kind of sounds a little bit more, I don't know, meanish, I guess, but you don't have anything if you don't have your wealth. And it's just, it's sad they never got to enjoy their winnings or any of that kind of stuff, and just really anything. And even up to that point, they never really thought too much about their retirement, so they didn't really have a whole ton to live off of, even if they wouldn't have won that lottery. So it's sad. It's sad about the situation, and kind of got me thinking more along the mindset of, how can, I'm just trying to share the story, and hopefully you guys that are listening to me will watch either some of my other videos and take investing seriously. And I'm not saying you should do real estate. It's not for everyone. That's just the route I've chosen. But, maybe listen to other channels that talk about stocks, anything, just anything. Do not get yourself into a situation where, I mean, we are all going to die. Just get yourself to a situation where you can actually enjoy all the years of work and struggle, and you're not don't find yourself in a situation where you worked up to the very end and you never got to enjoy anything. That's the point I'm trying to make with this video. So I see there's a couple comments. Let me take these off so I can actually read stuff. What are you streaming? Well, I'm streaming this on YouTube. Oh, this is a good one. I like this one, Captain Savage. Yeah, let's talk about that. Thoughts about the Industrial Revolution and its consequences for humanity. I've actually put a lot of thought into this, so if you're still here. So, the Industrial Revolution, they always talk about, is the beginning of when they invented iron and progressed into, the fast forwarding, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, blah, 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 in 1492, whatever. You guys don't care about that part. The Industrial Revolution has done a lot of different things for humanity. It's brought out some of the best and some of the worst. It has brought out different technologies and stuff to be implemented to make progress, and has also hurt people at the same time. There's been, again, I'm just listing facts to get to my point. There's been different things that are harmful. There have been different things that have been good. I mean, we've gone through, and I just had another thought to go with what I'm saying. So work with me here. So anyway, the Industrial Revolution has put a lot more stress and anxiety on the society. I'm just talking about America for this part right here, because I've never been anywhere else but in this part of the world. So anyway, to the point where, so everything with economics in the Industrial Revolution has basically come from what people think of as like the late 1800s, where everything's booming and it's going and going. Then we have the Great Depression. Then we have 2 world wars. We pull ourselves out of the Great Depression, and everything's roaring in the 1950s, and things are booming. Okay, and America starts to get bloated with their debt because of them wanting to experience luxury over a more, a primitive state, kind of like what you're referring to, Captain Savage. And because of that, they then locked themselves and sealed their fate into a state of where they're always going to, like, as a country, they're going to be chasing the Joneses. So they're going to be chasing experiences, cheaper products and stuff, into what led into what we are now, where we bring in more stuff than we export, and basically the only thing that's worthwhile in our country is the US dollar, for which then leads to basically, like, there's other transactions that are done outside of the US that are done in US currency. So like, you'll see, I'm just picking 2 random countries, China, and I'm trying to think of a different country than China. China and, I don't know, India. There we go. China and India. China and India do an agreement where, China is going to export this stuff, I don't know, Legos. They're going to ship Legos from China to India, and the Legos, or the debt, is going to be paid in US dollars. And that's why right now, as the world, the US dollar is the currency of the world. If the US didn't have that, we would have lost our power back in start drastically losing our power back in the 1960s. So even in the 70s and the 80s, they're losing great power, or they're losing great, I should say, the people of America in the 70s and the 80s at that point were already chasing luxuries over their trying to maintain status quo and staying out of debt and living basically kind of more or less a Dave Ramsey style. And that's okay. But if you really want to take this back into how this got derailed, you could chase it all the way back to the Revolutionary War, where the United States decided that they were going to create a Fed. Well, I guess it wasn't the Revolutionary War, but just after, okay, when George Washington made Alexander Hamilton and put them in charge of the Treasury, that would then fund the U.S. And granted, we weren't paying taxes at that time, but that set the gears in motion to then be propelled, that they would then implement taxes. And for some reason, our current administration believes that by raising the tariffs, so we can go back to the old style of what the U.S. can fund themselves through tariffs alone. And that's just not true. So, not sure if I really answered your question there. Well, I guess I kind of did, but yeah. Uh, Me personally, to kind of get everything all wrapped up in that comment, you can either hate the game or hate the player. And although you can hate the game, it's still where we're at right now. So your option, like your other option, is you can just go completely off grid and you can live a life of just farming and living on the silver and gold standards. And it's going to be a very difficult life, because the whole reason why we have a fiscal or money system is because of the fact that they basically force you to do it. And if you want to go to the grocery store and buy groceries, for example, or gas for your tractors, I guess it'd be diesel really, but you get my point, that you're going to have to play with the players that are playing the game. And it's an unfortunate circumstance, but if you want to blame the Industrial Revolution, that's fine. But there's way more things before that, and this is not a first time process of this happening. It's happened with basically every country throughout the world. You have different theories and stuff that can explain it better, and different people, such as uneducated economists, that can explain this way better than I can. But basically, every country has had a cycle of its ups and downs, and then just falling into collapse with their money, the monetary policies, basically with their silver and gold standards. The biggest thing, though, is, and the reason why the U.S. has not had that issue yet, is because of the fact that we went off the gold standard with the Nixon administration. And sorry, I'm trying not to choke on camera. Anyway, so going off the gold standard got us off, then created a fiscal monetary policy, which then allowed us to just keep printing money. And I forget what the last I heard exactly was, but I think it's like 91 or 93%. The U.S. dollar has depreciated since that day of when Nixon pulled us off the gold standard. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts about it. It's just, I know it's not really probably the answer you're necessarily looking for. It's just more of a factual based one. This might be a better answer for you. So my end goal after I get towards retirement is to actually own a hobby farm where it's more of a self-sustaining and self-sufficient thing, where you plant your own crops, and you go ahead, have some campsites and stuff you can rent out to people. You sell some firewood, and you have some animals on it, and you can your vegetables, and you kind of live off the land in some ways. But if that, I guess everything I said kind of explains your question. I wasn't expecting to get hit with such a hard question. But yeah, I could honestly probably cut a video on that one. So anyway, for right now, I'm going to go ahead and finish up doing some stuff. Let the sun hit you in the shoulders, and you have an awesome day.